Welcome to Legacy of History Project Volume 3. My name is Rebecca O'Coin and this is
Riley Childers.
Today, October 24th, we will be interviewing Irene Cole at the Cambridge Narrows Regional Library. Our hopes are that you will enjoy listening to our interview with Irene Cole. Welcome, Irene Cole. Cambridge Narrows Community School thanks you for participating in Legacy of History Project. I understand you were born in 1939, and you lived most of your life here in Cambridge Narrows. Where were you born and when?
I was born in 1939 in Cody's.
Where did you spend most of your life?
In Cody's in Cambridge Narrows.
Where did you go to school?
Went to school at Cambridge Narrows High School.
What grade did you start in kindergarten?
No, I started in grade 8. And I think it was 1952.
What was school like back then? How many students do you have in your class?
Probably 28 or something like that.
When did you get married?
1959.
What was your maiden name?
Pardon?
What was your maiden name?
Cromwell.
I understand that Cromwell ran the store. Were you related to him?
Les Cromwell and my father were half-brothers. And anyhow, there's a lot of relatives around here, Arthur Jones and Norma Jones, Pauline and George McConaughey. There's the principal of Cambridge Narrows School.
What did your dad do?
My father ran a farm, and we used to grow vegetables. Used to sell eggs at the Les Cromwell store. And Les Cromwell store, it was run by his wife's father when it started. And Walter Akerley, at one time, ran that store, and then he built his own store across the road. And he ran that for years. And at the farm, we used to go out and we had horses to start with, drive horses, pick strawberries, hay, pick peas. And then we eventually got a tractor and drove tractor. And we had a dog that used to go get the mail. We lived quite a ways away from the road, and every day he'd know what time the mail came down. Gerald Smith drove mail at that time, and he would go out to the mailbox and get the mail bag and bring the mail in. And if we weren't home, he would take and hide the mail bag somewhere till we got home. And then when we got home, he'd go get the mail bag and give it to us.
Did you train him to do that, or did he do it on his own?
No, he just done it on his own. He used to go out to the mailbox with us and get the mail, and he just eventually went by himself and brought the mail in.
Did you have any TV or computers on your...
No, we didn't have any phone or TV or hydro or anything till about, I think it was in probably early 50s before we got anything. We used to read and that and do lessons with a lantern or lamp.
How did you keep your food and preserved and still?
Food, we had ice boxes. And in the wintertime, they used to go down to the lake and cut blocks of ice. And they'd bring it home, and you had sawdust. And you took and you put your ice blocks in the sawdust, and that kept the ice. And that's what you used to keep your food.
Did you can any food?
Oh yeah, canned everything. Canned all kinds of food. Meat, fish.
What did you do for entertainment?
Pardon?
What did you do for entertainment?
Entertainment? We did a little bit of everything. When I was a teenager, a bunch of us, girls and boys around the community, one fella had a car, and we used to all get in the car, load the car, more than what should be, and we'd go to swimming. And at Robinson's Point, they had a canteen at Robinson's Point, and we had a drive-in theater in the summertime. And they put a sheet up on the wall, and somebody with a movie projector would show the movies. I think that was before drive-in theaters were ever thought of.
What kind of activities did you do in the winter?
In the wintertime, we used to go sliding, snowshoeing. And my father used to go on the farm. He cut logs way out back, about 2 miles out from the road in the woods. And he had the horses to haul the logs in. And after I got home from school, we used to walk out to meet the horses.
Can you tell me about a typical Saturday night?
Saturday nights, lots of times we would stay home and listen to the radio. Other times, if we get a bunch together, we go to the Orange Hall for a square dance. And that was a lot of fun. And you could end up having fights at the dance, which wasn't so much fun, but they'd come from Chipman, Gatestown, all over the place.
What would be on the radio?
Radio. There used to be Don Messer's Jubilee, Red Skeleton.
When you listened to the radio, what types of programs did you listen to?
Well, there was Inner Sanctum, Red Skeleton. Then we listened to the music, what would you call it, fiddling. There was Don Messer and his Islanders, Hockey Night in Canada.
Can you tell me about the horse races in Gagetown?
They used to have horse races in Gagetown on the ice, and you'd go across the ice at Upper Gagetown to Gagetown, and you'd watch the horse races. Walter Akerley was one of the people that had his horse in racing, and then after the horse race you come home. Sometimes towards spring, when the sun got hotter, the ice would start to melt, and you'd get stuck trying to get off the ice.
Can you tell us about your father and Louie now?
My father, he owned a farm, and he used to work on the farm, and like when he had the odd job, he was I called a riff-raffer. He laid stones on bridges, like the end of bridges, and he used to go all over with the government, laying these flat stones on the end of the bridges. Prices were a lot cheaper when I was young. I can remember when a bag of chips was 5 cents, a bottle of pop was 5 cents. Gas was like 20 cents a gallon. Flour, you get a bag of flour for $5. Milk was about 10 cents a quart. Well, in grocery stores, it was more like something like a mall, except they didn't have a whole lot of clothing. They may have gloves and a jacket, and they'd have hardware. You could get pretty near everything in a grocery store, except for a whole lot of clothing.
What kind of thing have you found in store that in my hand now?
Okay, back then everything came in bulk pretty well. And you could get kerosene by the gallon. Molasses used to be in a barrel or hodget, something like that. And you used to take your container and you'd get whatever amount of molasses you wanted, and it was called, back then it was blackstrap molasses. You didn't get the refined molasses that you get now. You could get kerosene for lamps.
Irene Cole, a Legacy of History project thanks you so much for sharing your life stories and memories with us.
Thank you.
This concludes our interview with Irene Cole. Thank you for this opportunity, a Legacy History Project.